You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, there's a new attraction along Route 66. Our very own Mitch Adams shares more on the statue named Big A.
Also, Fort Scott residents had an opportunity to take part in the inaugural stair climb to honor fallen 9/11 first responders.
And it's another chilly start to the day out there. Make sure you've got a jacket, but make sure it's a light one. Look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner, just after 7 a.m. on this Monday, September the 9th, 2024. Now we're getting dangerously close to 2025.
I know. Oh, just a few more months. I can't believe it.
Yeah. It's 2025. You know, what's the future supposed to be like?
I guess we'll find out. That's what it's there for.
That is true. And a little bit of the past coming to life in Galena.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, a Texaco statue named Big A, which is more than 20 feet tall, is now standing at its new home on the historical Route 66 in Galena, Kansas.
KOAM's Mitch Adams shares how this new statue is a big deal.
It's pretty exciting. I mean, we have a Texaco giant at Gearhead Curios. I really don't know what to think. It's kind of cool. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's cool.
If you went on a road trip in America in the 1960s, there's a good possibility a statue like this may look a bit familiar. Texaco muffler men used to be a staple in advertising and roadside attractions, but only a select few of them were produced in the 60s. One of the most visited spots along the Joplin area Route 66 is Gearhead Curios in Galena, Kansas. The destination is a vintage Texaco fueling station turned into a souvenir shop and photo destination. The owner of Gearhead Curios, Aaron Perry, says Big A was a big find.
Texaco back in the 60s had what they called the Big Friend, and those molds have been destroyed. There's only 300 ever made. There's 6 left in existence. So we took what molds we had and made an homage to the Texaco Big Friend because he was in the Texaco uniform, he was waving.
Stephanie Daggett, the vice president of the Route 66 Association in Texas, told us that travelers from all over the world come to sightsee attractions like the Muffler Men.
You could talk to people from all over the world every day on Route 66 because they come here every day. It doesn't matter where you are on Route 66, you will meet people from all over the world every day.
Perry also told us that with his renovations and efforts to restore the former Texaco as a roadside attraction, he's come to form bonds with many people in support of his ideas.
I mean, I bought 4 walls and a bunch of imagination, and these people have been following my progress and support me all along. So to have this kind of a showing it's a blessing. It's really cool. And I'm happy to do something. I say it's mine, but it's for others to enjoy. And I think adding the giant is going to add an element to that and give one more thing for people to come out, a reason to come to Southeast Kansas, a reason to come to Galena, and have a memory, have a road trip, family vacation.
Big A was placed at his permanent home with the hopes that his silhouette, visible on Route 66, will give all who drive by a feeling of nostalgia for old American road trips. Reporting in Galena, Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
Well, from the top of his hat to the bottom of his shoes, Big A is 22 feet tall and he weighs about 1,200 pounds.
That's certainly incredible.
Yes.
And a great addition to Route 66.
Certainly.
A lot of nostalgia there. And
absolutely.
A lot of folks, I'm sure, will enjoy seeing that. And a lot of folks enjoyed seeing, well, at least some of us, some record-breaking lows over the weekend. And we're still pretty chilly this morning as well. Let's start, though, with a quick look outside from our camera downtown Pittsburgh. The sun hiding back there, but it is beginning to rise across the area. And we'll head over to our camera at 7th and Range Line in Joplin. We're looking pretty good. Got some low-level clouds. We've had some patchy fog on the fog tracker, really around the Grand Lake area, but at least on its latest updates, it's showing good visibility down there now, but just a heads up, you might run into some here and there. MoDOT camera 20th and Range Line also looking pretty good as we get this Monday underway. It's the second full week of September, but probably the first full week of school and work for many folks since we had Labor Day last week. Future track doesn't really show much out there. We'll have the winds this morning out of the southeast, switching out of the south by late morning into the afternoon, by late evening into the overnight. They switch back out of the southeast, and that's really about it. That's the only thing you really need to keep track of, at least through today, is the winds will be changing up on you, but they won't be very strong. Take a look at these temperatures. 55 in Joplin. It's not bad. 46 in Pittsburgh right now and around the area. Now, Miami's been the cold spot. Now not the coldest spot at 47 degrees. So they've come up a little bit. Cold spot award now goes to Stockton at 42 degrees. 42. And we're still technically in summer out there. So a pretty chilly start once again. Another below normal day. This is the last one, though. Just take it in. Sunny skies, temperatures low to mid 80s across the area. We're going to hold on to clear skies for a while, and we're also going to start to warm back up a bit. We'll go over those details with you in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Lise?
All right, we'll see you soon, Chris. Well, the father of a teen who was charged with leaving the scene of a fatal crash has now also been charged with 2 felonies related to the same crash. John Henry Joseph has been charged with leaving the scene of a fatal accident and encouraging a child under the age of 18 to leave the scene of a fatal accident. Now, Joseph was not driving the vehicle at the time of the accident, and he has not been arrested. However, a summons has been filed for Joseph to appear in a court to face the charges on October 7th. Now, charges were refiled for the teen driver to be charged as an adult. Rocco Henry Bazzano Joseph is charged with leaving the scene of a fatal crash. Carterville first responders were alerted to a house fire in the 300 block of Pearl Street Friday evening. On arrival, they faced heavy smoke coming from the upstairs and a man that was trapped. Now, firefighters worked to rescue the man, then worked to extinguish the fire quickly. The source of the fire was a window AC unit, and in our video you can see firefighters spraying water through the AC unit, and the water has a spinning effect. Now, the man was rushed to an area hospital. Later, he was transferred to a Springfield unit for a higher level of care. His current condition is unknown. Fire units from Webb City, Oronogo, and Dunaweg assisted Carterville. Well, Joplin residents enjoyed some roaring fun as the Steel Thunder Car Show came to Shoal Creek. Now, the car show raises funds to help veterans and their families. People could participate in a silent auction with prizes ranging from antique oil cans to a fireworks package. Well, trophies were given to the top competitors across 12 categories. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, the Fort Scott Fire Department held its first annual 9/11 Memorial Stair Climb Saturday. KOAM's Mitch Adams has the story.
The community backs the fire department so much, and it's great to get them all involved and just to see them come out and support us even more for our event and future endeavors. It's humbling. It really is.
The Fort Scott Fire Department hosted a 9/11 Memorial Stair Climb at Ferry Field. This event was the first of its kind to be put on by the fire department. The initiative to begin hosting an event like this was started by Deputy Fire Chief Mike Miles. Miles told us about why the department felt the need to plan this for the community.
So our members have actually started doing this for the last 5 years. We did it ourselves, and I posted it on our Facebook page, and people last year commented, hey, we want to do this. So then I thought to myself, well, why not make it an event? Because I know some bigger cities like New York, Wichita, Kansas City, they do their own stair climb. So I thought, well, I'll just try to make an event local and try to get the public involved and turn it into something big.
The stair climb wasn't the only thing happening at the field today. A 5K run and walk was just another part of the memorial. Samantha Smith, a community member who participated in the stair climb, told us about the importance of memorializing 9/11 victims.
It's very important. You know, it's been 23 years now, and it's something that everybody should remember because these people gave their lives, and it's just it's something else. You know, I don't know. I've never been in that position myself. I've never been that brave. So, yeah, it's really important.
The event today included a reading of the list of victims killed in the 2001 terrorist attack. A remembrance speech was also given before the climb began. Reporting from Fort Scott, Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
Well, participants climbed 110 flights of stairs, which is about 15 laps up and down the bleachers. And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, we'll hear from one organization that's working on growing the comedy scene in our area. And later, a new study is showing how standing desks are helping students become more focused and active. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from downtown Sarcoxie, Missouri. Welcome back. Well, there's one organization working hard to grow the comedy scene in our area. We have Miss Micah, one of the organizers of Show Bites, with us this morning to share how Show Bites plans to grow comedy as well as their guest this Friday. Welcome to you. Thank you so much for being with us. So talk to me a little bit about Show Bites and how it's growing the scene in Joplin.
Yeah. I moved to Joplin about like a little over 2 years ago, okay. And I've been doing comedy for over 5 years, and like I love doing comedy, and I also love doing photography. So Show Bites kind of started as like just like kind of like a media coverage page,
Absolutely,
like just like highlighting live events in this area, letting people know what's happening. And since I do comedy, I want to like turn it into more like a comedy promotion kind of organization to like let people know like what's actually happening in this area, because the closest comedy clubs are like 1 to 2 hours away from us, like Kansas City or Springfield, and most people don't want to drive this far. So I'm like, let's bring more comedy into this area, because I feel like it's good for the community and like everybody needs to laugh. Like life is stressful enough, so let's bring more to this area and just trying to like spread the word, let people know comedy's happening. And usually we get good turnouts, but it's hard to spread the word. So where people are like, hey, I didn't even know this is happening. So
yes, absolutely. And then as you're growing this scene, you're having a very special guest this Friday. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yes. So this Friday at Joplin Avenue Coffee, we actually have Matthew Broussard coming in. He's been on like the Late Night Show, Conan, Comedy Central. So he like tours through all these major clubs in the country. So he'll be in Kansas City this weekend. So a few months ago I got to a feature for him, and I just happened to have the date secured already where he's coming through the area.
Oh, perfect.
And so I reached out and I got him to like agree to like stop in Joplin, which like really happens that we have big names stopping in Joplin.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we have it's this Friday. We have a cocktail hour at 7 at Joplin Avenue Coffee, because I feel like lots of people don't know that they actually serve drinks there too.
Yes.
So there will be drinks, not just coffee. Cocktail hour at 7, and then the show starts at 8. We also have some locals feature on the show, and then Matthew Broussard coming in. And I just think it's a big event for Joplin, having a big name artist stopping by, which is usually overseen. Like people don't really know about Joplin.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, lots to look forward to. Again, it's this Friday at 8 o'clock. Thank you so much for being with us. And if you'd like to attend, you can find the link on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Stick around, we'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:18 now on this Monday morning here in the 4 states. We are starting with a live look from our camera downtown Pittsburgh. Now it looks dark and cloudy out, but it's really not. We have some low-level clouds out there, and we have had some patchy fog. Fog tracker is now showing a little bit around, say, Iola, Yates Center, Chanute, and down toward the Veneta and Newata areas. Nothing extreme, but nonetheless, we are getting some patchy fog out there, so make sure you are aware of that this morning. Our camera, 7th and range line in Joplin. You can see kind of what we're talking about. The low-level clouds, not in the Joplin area, low enough to be foggy, but just right there, and then clear skies up above out there. MoDOT camera, 20th and range line in Joplin, looking pretty good as well this morning. And not bad from the KDOT camera, 69 in Kansas Crossing. Starting to get a little bit of the sunlight up there, starting to peek through the trees toward the highway. Future track over the next 72 hours is relatively quiet. Now we need rain, but unfortunately that's not what's on our horizon over the next 2 or 3 days here. But we're going to have southeast winds this morning, switch out of the south this afternoon, then back out of the southeast late tonight into the overnight. Then they'll go back out of the south for our Tuesday. So we got one more below normal day out there, and then we're going to have another relatively cool night tonight. However, tomorrow we start to warm up. Now tomorrow we're looking to be right about average, maybe a pinch above. So we're not, some of the good news was we're not going to go into excessive heat territory, because we are still in summer technically. And we can still see that. We've had some hot Septembers, but we're not looking at that. But it is going to be considerably warmer over the next several days than where we have been. So that also means, of course, our overnights will start to get a little warmer as well. We go into our Wednesday. Wednesday's going to be probably one of, at this point, the warmest days we're expecting, with some highs in the low 90s. Quick look outside one more time. 7th and range line again looking good. 55 in Joplin. South-southeast breeze at about 5. Around the region, temperatures are cool. Now, Miami had been the cold spot most of the morning. Not so much anymore. Still chilly, 47. But now Stockton taking over at 42 degrees. It is pretty darn cold up around the Stockton area, and it's not very warm elsewhere, upper 40s and low 50s. So we go through the morning again, chilly start, mid 50s, sunny skies, low 70s by 11 o'clock this morning. Heading into the afternoon, it's a gradual warm up. We'll eventually make the low to mid 80s out there with plentiful sunshine. As we head into tonight, clear skies, mid 60s by 10, overnight lows again on the cool side as we fall back. Now, tonight, we're going to have that spread, so this is the medium point here, but we're looking at low 50s, mid 50s, upper 50s. Either way you paint it, though, still another cool night. Warmer tomorrow, upper 80s, low 90s on Wednesday is probably one of the warmest days so far over the next several days. Upper 80s to about 90 heading into next week. Friday's one day we're watching. Now, we're not watching for anything severe or anything like that, but there's a tropical system trying to develop in the Gulf. And depending on how it develops and where exactly it goes, it may try and clip us by Friday morning, at least bringing some rain chances in there. Otherwise, hotter and dry. That is a check of your forecast. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this. Helping your child to focus more while in school could be as easy as increasing their movement.
Fox News correspondent Marianne Rafferty takes a closer look at how researchers are using standing desks to help give students a boost of brain power.
For teachers, a new school year can mean new attempts to help improve students' ability to focus in the classroom. But many may not have to look far for solutions, with researchers at Texas A&M University encouraging staff to embrace kids' love of fidgeting.
When we put a situation in kids' lives where they're allowed and encouraged to move, they do.
According to Dr. Mark Bindon, this can be done by providing opportunities to keep kids from sitting for too long.
When we do that for long periods of time, we actually become less productive. We need change and variety.
Together with his team, Dr. Bindon has developed and produced standing desks and stations for classroom use, citing how they not just boost focus, but also activity levels. Researchers wanted to find ways of promoting movement during the school day, citing how not every child participates in after-school sports or clubs that involve physical engagement.
We came up with a way to create an environment, activity permissive learning environment, or APPLE, a way to get those kids to move. What we found was that children had more time on task than when they were in the traditional static environment.
And Dr. Bindon says teachers love it.
When children are on task, when they're focused, when they're doing their work, they're not bothering their classmates.
Meanwhile, creating more chances for standing can even help set kids up for healthier adulthoods. Dr. Bindon says his standing desks are currently being used by hundreds of thousands of students across more than 40 countries. Marianne Rafferty, Fox News.
Well, certainly interesting.
Yes.
I know standing desks have become a thing,
Right.
you know, a lot of offices as well. You've got
Yes.
the ones you can just put on your existing
Sure.
desk, save a few bucks, or you can buy a whole new one, whatever you're up for. But putting them in school is certainly different.
Yeah, I think that can be good. I mean, not everyone, they might not be beneficial to everyone, but for the majority of it, I think it's interesting to try for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. To have that option
Yeah,
available is the best thing.
Yes. Well, coming up, wildfires have been exploding in the western United States. We'll hear how authorities are working to keep the flames under control.
And we've got ourselves another cool day out there, below normal temperatures. Another look at your forecast when we come back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:29. I'm Elise Noe. Well, Joplin residents had an opportunity to meet with one of the Missouri House candidates yesterday. Democratic candidate for Missouri U.S. House District 7, Missy Hesketh, held a forum at the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 95. The event included dinner as Hesketh also fielded questions from constituents. Hesketh is currently the mayor of Forsyth, Missouri.
I got to meet so many wonderful people down at Landreth Park already today, and just revisiting with people that I've already met from Joplin and Neosho who are coming into town, and as far away actually as Taney County are here, and meeting new people and hearing their perspectives and why they want to see change in our representation. That just means the world to me.
Hesketh is running against incumbent Republican Eric Burleson and Libertarian Kevin Craig in the November election. Well, Special Olympics Kansas and the Crawford County Sheriff's Office collaborated for the second annual Duck and Jeep Derby. The event helps raise money for the Special Olympics. Jeeps are judged in two categories, Best Decorated and People's Choice. The Best Decorated category is selected by Special Olympics athletes, and the top 3 Jeeps in each category received a plaque. The event also featured giveaways, cornhole, and more.
The sheriff really likes Jeeps and came to us with the idea to have a Duck and Jeep Derby. We really honestly didn't know what it was, but it has completely flourished, and it's really cool to see kind of a different part of the community come together and raise money for Special Olympics.
If you come outside and find that someone has put a rubber duck on your Jeep, it's a way to show kindness. The Page of Palooza Fall Festival took place in Joplin over the weekend. Attendees could get products from local vendors ranging from t-shirts to even pumpkins and simple syrups. Carthage Humane Society showed off dogs available for adoption. The event also included bounce houses, food trucks, and more.
I enjoy all the people that are out here. Everybody seems to be in a very good and uplifting mood. And with all the help that's been going on with Page of Palooza itself, all the people are just very connected and very communicative, and I enjoy that.
I like getting the dogs out of the shelter because it's good for them to not be in their kennels. It's good for them to get some fresh air and get lots of love and pets from other people.
Front Page also had deals in store for attendees during the event. Now let's check in with Chris for a look at the forecast.
We've got a pretty chilly start across the area this morning. A live look from our camera downtown Pittsburgh, looking back to the southeast. Now again, it looks cloudy. We just have some low-level clouds out there. Now for some, that's been leading to some patchy fog. We have some denser fog around the Iola area right now, about 3.5 miles of visibility. So do keep that in mind as you're traveling. It's going to be patchy. We don't have any dense fog advisories. Here's another look at that from 7th and Rangeline. Our camera there, you can see on the horizon those low-level clouds. Above that, though, skies are crystal clear with ample sunshine. And from the MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline in Joplin, looking back to the north, things are looking pretty good as well this morning. So future track over the next few hours today. Not much to show. No clouds. Winds will shift out of the south by late morning into the afternoon. By late evening into the overnight, they're back out of the southeast. And we're going to have another below normal day out there. Right now, though, very below normal for some of us. 55 in Joplin, 47 in Pittsburgh right now. And as we look at temperatures around the region, we've got some pretty chilly ones out there. We've got 45 in Cassville, and taking a quick glance, that is now the cold spot. It's been variable out there on who's been the coldest, but now it belongs to Cassville. Upper 40s, low 50s to start the day, but we will start to warm up. We'll go low mid 80s out there, plentiful sunshine, a nice warm day, still below normal, and then temperatures start to warm up as we head into our Tuesday. We'll have the latest on that in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Lise?
Chris, thanks. Well, wicked wildfires continue dominating across the West as soaring temperatures worsen conditions and raise the risk of heat-related injuries for first responders. Fox News' Sue Guzman takes a closer look at the destruction as containment efforts press on.
Extreme heat continues creating dangerous conditions and the perfect fuel to feed California's line fire. The blaze that sparked Thursday of last week has exploded in size, burning more than 17,000 acres as of Sunday, roughly 65 miles east of Los Angeles. Surging inferno threatening thousands of structures and forcing hundreds of people to evacuate to temporary shelters.
Bottom line is, I want to get back home.
This as thick plumes of smoke fill the air, prompting some residents to put on face masks to try to protect their lungs.
We have 500 personnel on the incident with fire suppression activities. We have air resources with air tankers, pellet tankers.
Besides smoke, recent weather systems have complicated the battle.
It went from calm with the helicopters able to fly, but when the thunderstorms and lightning hits were striking the hillside, apparently they're not allowed to fly under those conditions because it's not safe. So there went your air-water support.
Witnesses described the heroic efforts of crews to save homes on the ground. At least 3 firefighters have been injured.
Numerous fire trucks came sailing into the neighborhood, set up posts on the street behind the homes at the base of the hill, and then the fire just burned all the way down, and they put it out from the base.
Meanwhile, in Nevada, the Davis fire is still roaring south of Reno. More than 3,000 acres have burned as of Sunday, with officials citing how strong winds have made containment strategies difficult. Power in some areas cut over the weekend to try to prevent systems from possibly sparking and creating more flames. Sue Guzman, Fox News.
That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A small Texas police department is singing the praises of a young girl when she calls 911 asking for help for her dad. We'll be right back, but before we head to break, here's a live look from Sarcoxie, Missouri. In Consumer Watch this morning, Boeing and a major union for its workers say they have a new deal to help avert a strike this week. Boeing and the International Association of Mechanics and Aerospace Workers Union say they've agreed on a new 4-year deal after contract talks. The new contract would avoid a shutdown this week and give workers a 25% pay raise over the 4-year period. A 2-part election is set for Thursday for union members to vote on whether to accept the contract. If they reject it, members will vote on authorizing a strike. Well, bickering between 2 big media giants over agreements to carry shows now results in one filing an action against the other. DirecTV, the nation's 3rd largest pay TV provider, has filed a complaint with the FCC against Disney. DirecTV says Disney has been negotiating with it in bad faith. DirecTV says Disney is making an anti-competitive demands. Disney says DirecTV is diverting attention from customers by not finalizing a deal. And some job trends for older workers may have a negative consequence for up-and-coming workers wanting fast-track careers. New data suggests millennial and Gen Z workers may not be able to advance as fast out of lower paying jobs because more numbers of older workers are delaying retirement and staying put at work. Declining Social Security benefits and fewer pension plans offered are cited for why older workers don't retire. The report says younger workers may have to resort to more job hopping to advance. Well, a new study shows federal regulators responsible for the safety of America's drug supply are still struggling to get back to where they were in 2019. Fox News correspondent CB Cotton has more from New York.
The way you can think about it is there's this idea of trust but verify.
Whether they're prescriptions, vitamins, or supplements, most of us take at least one pill every day. But now the safety of those meds are being called into question following an AP report showing more than 2,000 drug manufacturing facilities haven't been inspected in at least 5 years. Most of the blame is being placed on the COVID-19 pandemic when factory inspections plummeted. But since then, the backlog has only gotten worse, leading some to criticize the FDA for failing to prioritize manufacturing safety.
As we emerge from the pandemic, the inspections didn't recover. Even today, the FDA has not inspected at the same levels as it did before the COVID pandemic. I thought the FDA would be catching up, but they're still behind.
Overall, about 42% of all drug-making factories have gone without FDA inspection since 2019. Under federal guidelines, factories that haven't been inspected for 5 years or more are considered a, quote, significant risk for contamination and poor quality. Now, lawmakers are asking tough questions about how the backlog happened and whether a congressional push is needed to get the FDA to step up inspections.
In the absence of regulatory inspections and actions, that we've seen numerous quality control failures.
It is past time the FDA addresses these issues.
People's lives depend on it.
Most of the plants overdue for inspections are in the U.S., but more than 300 are overseas, mostly in China and India. In New York, CB Cotton, Fox News.
And those are our top consumer stories. Let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:44 on this Monday morning. We're starting with a live look from our camera downtown Pittsburgh. Got plentiful sunshine out there already. However, it is still a bit on the cold side for some of us out there. Our camera 7th in range line also looking pretty good this morning. You can see the sun rising and clear skies out there. Just another beautiful but chilly start. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line looking back to the north, looking pretty good as well this morning. And same from the KDOT camera, 69 Kansas crossing, getting more sunshine out there as it continues to rise above the tree line. Future track over the next 72 hours is relatively clear. We need rain, but there is none on it. We'll have southeast winds this morning, switching out of the south by this afternoon. Then they'll go back to the southeast as we head into the evening and back out of the south tomorrow. That's really the most action on the future track is the winds changing direction. Our temperatures, though, as we head into our Tuesday, will start to warm up a bit. It's going to be much warmer than what we've seen. It's going to feel that way at least, but it's going to be seasonably warm as we head into our Tuesday. We might go a bit above average, though, on our Wednesdays. Well, into Tuesday night now, of course, as daytime temperatures warm, that also means our overnight lows will start to gradually warm as well. So we're going to start running out of these 40-degree start to the day, and we'll start getting back into the 50s and 60s as we head through the next several days as temperatures, as you can see by Wednesday, continue to rise across the area. Not rising just yet out there. We're 55 in Joplin, so up a couple of degrees so far. South-southeast breeze at about 5 miles an hour. And around the area, we've had varying cold spots, and right now this morning at this point, it is now Cassville sitting at 43 degrees as the cold spot. The rest of us upper 40s and low 50s, so a very chilly start to the day, especially considering you have to keep in mind, well, yes, September 1st is the meteorological start to fall. The official start to fall isn't until the 22nd. So this is a very cold start considering that it's technically still summer out there. We even tied and broke some record lows over the weekend. Through the morning, sunny skies, chilly start, mid-50s, low 70s by 11 o'clock. So a nice start to the day out there. Temperatures, again, below normal but warm, low to mid-80s across the region. As we head into the evening, another cool night. Go down to the mid-60s by 10. We're going to fall back into the low, mid, and upper 50s. So just kind of throughout the 50s as we go into the overnight hours tonight. And we'll still have those clear skies. Now, into the future. Warmer tomorrow, upper 80s. Warmest day, at least at this point, is Wednesday, as we could see highs into the low 90s. That'll be putting us above normal. We'll be at or at least very close to normal for the next several days. Friday's a day, again, we are keeping an eye on. Now, it's not because we're expecting any kind of widespread severe weather or anything like that, but there is a tropical system in the Gulf. And as it develops, we got to see how it develops and what path it takes, because there's a couple of different paths it could take. If it takes a more northerly track, it could brush us just a bit Friday morning, so it won't give us much, but at least some rain showers will be possible. If it develops and becomes it develops into hurricane status, that's going to force it a little further to the east, and then we won't really see much out of it at all. So it's something we'll watch because we do need some rain. Otherwise, seasonably hot and some sunny skies. That's Check Your Forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Well, 3 Texas police officers earned life-saving awards during a city council meeting last week after their quick actions saved a man in need.
Their quick reaction all started by a 911 call from a young girl who saw her father in trouble.
911, where's your emergency?
In May, the Sherman Police Department received a 911 call from a 10-year-old girl whose father needed help.
She's like, my dad said he was really tired, and he pulled over, and then I noticed that his breathing changed.
When Officer Chad Johnson arrived at the gas station the two were at,
I noticed his skin looked white and gray. I felt for a pulse. I didn't feel a pulse. It might have been a really weak one, but I didn't feel a pulse at all.
Officer Johnson began giving the man CPR. Meanwhile, officers Steve Torres and Kendall Foster arrived.
There wasn't a whole lot of thinking. It's just rely on your training and do what the department asks us to do, which is serve with excellence and try to save people's lives.
The officers continued CPR until Sherman Fire Rescue made it and transported the man to Sherman Medical Center. Fortunately, he survived, thanks to quick action from not only the officers, but also the young girl. This serves as an example of why parents should teach their child how to call 911 in case of an emergency. Officers say this child was able to clearly give information on her location and her father's condition, getting him the help he needed. Without this, things could have ended differently.
That little girl was really who saved the dude's life. Like she's a hero. Like at 10 years old, there's no way I could have done that.
She was super brave and she remained super calm, even though it was kind of scary.
On Tuesday, officers Johnson, Torres, and Foster received life-saving awards during City Council. While the young girl couldn't be there, they say she was the true hero.
Certainly incredible that she was able to call 911 and get her father the help that he needed. He so critically needed.
Yeah. And those officers were able to respond and quickly handle that situation until EMTs and medical professionals could get there. So
absolutely, could have been a different story for sure.
Sure could have. Well, we've got another chilly start out there this morning. We're going to start outside downtown Pittsburgh. We have plentiful sunshine already, but it's still a bit on the cold side. Same from our camera at 7th and Rangeline in Joplin. So this goes back to when it's hot or cold. The cameras don't really tell you that unless they're like iced over, but or melting. But they're not doing any of that. MoDOT camera 32nd in Rangeline, looking back to the north, looking pretty good as well. Same from the KDOT camera 69 in Kansas Crossing. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the future track as we head into the afternoon. Not much to show. Winds this morning out of the southeast will switch out of the south by late morning into the afternoon. As we head later into the evening and overnight, they'll be back out of the southeast again. We'll have another below normal day today, and then things will begin to change. Quick look at temperatures one more time, because we're talking about 55 in Joplin. It's not bad. It's cool, but not bad. But you look at some of these other temperatures out there. We've had some downright cold spots, and Cassville still the cold spot at 43. The rest of us upper 40s and low 50s to start our day. We'll have another look at your forecast, talk about a warm-up that's on the way, and the news you need to know right after this.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The father of a teen who was charged with leaving the scene of a fatal crash has now also been charged with 2 felonies related to the same crash. John Henry Joseph has been charged with leaving the scene of a fatal accident and encouraging a child under the age of 18 to leave the scene of a fatal accident. Now, Joseph was not driving the vehicle at the time of the accident, and charges were refiled for Rocco Henry Bazzano Joseph to be charged as an adult. A Carterville man was rescued from his house after his AC unit caught fire Friday evening. First responders faced heavy smoke when they arrived. Once the man was rescued, the fire was quickly extinguished. And the man was rushed to an area hospital and later transferred to a Springfield unit for a higher level of care. His current condition is unknown. Democratic candidate for Missouri U.S. House District 7, Missy Hesketh, held a forum at the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 95 rather. The event included dinner as Hesketh also fielded questions from constituents. Hesketh is running against incumbent Republican Eric Burleson and Libertarian Kevin Craig in the November election.
And we've got a chilly start out there this morning. Another below normal but warm day. Low to mid 80s and sunny skies. Clear skies will continue with us through the evening and overnight hours. Mid 60s by 10. Overnight lows in the range of 50s. So we're putting about 56 as the average, but low, mid, and upper 50s out there. We're going to be a little warmer on our Tuesday, closer to normal. The warmest day so far Wednesday, above normal into the low 90s. Hanging out in the upper 80s as we head into the weekend, and keeping an eye on a tropical system for an opportunity for a couple of stray showers by Friday morning.
Well, yesterday, dozens of dogs were on the water in Del Mar in San Diego as they took part in the longest running canine surf competition in the country. The Helen Woodward Animal Center hosted its 19th annual Dog Surfathon yesterday at the Del Mar Dog Beach.
Dogs wearing costumes and goggles rode their surfboards as owners cheered them on. The Helen Woodward Animal Center was established in 1972 as an organization where people help animals and animals help people. Certainly looks like they were having a lot of fun.
Go.
A little too cool to do any surfing here if we had any oceans, but we don't. Probably because it gets so cold here. Well, thank you all for letting us put the good in your morning. We're back at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.